The vast majorities of all murders and crimes are absolutely soluble and solvable and solved. Most of them really involve nothing that's that untoward or difficult to understand. A lot of it is confessions, pleas. There are very, very, very few things that involve actual whodunit, what happened, who's the real victim, who. Now, there's a lot of cold case stuff, which is really important. That's where you just find somebody, or there was like, for example, that's a different story. That's kind of who done it, but that's a different story. But I mean something now where you have to apply immediate critical thinking skills, and you don't need any law enforcement experience whatsoever. You don't need any legal experience. You don't need anything. You have to be able to critically think. You have to be able to connect pieces, which just makes sense. You don't, because juries do not have law enforcement background. They don't have anything like that. It doesn't work like that. Juries just sit back and they just listen to you. They say, well, that does make sense. It doesn't make sense. They also evaluate the story. One of the most important things in the world is when people evaluate the story and they apply their own sense of, what does and doesn't make sense. Like, I don't believe this person. I don't believe her story. Now, add to it the scrum that we have in the world of social media, and it's completely psychotic. People who are forced or who are pulled by meanness, anger, and the collective view of the community. They're really bad at this. And you ask them, well, where'd you get that from? I don't know. She's dead. How do you know she's dead? Oh, I should. You don't know anything. And people are, by virtue of this, again, this scrum, this group of people, they're not able to really sit back and look through this and say, okay, the Virginia Giuffre case is still fascinating. And it's fascinating on levels that you can't believe, because this is us sitting back as civilians asking what happened with this. The number of people who hate her, fantastic. The people who love her, fantastic. Incredible. You don't know anything about her. She's this. It's like the one who maybe conned or scammed, or I don't know, Elon, the baby mama or whatever it's called. People show there's this hatred. 90% of Instagram and X or whatever it is based on hatred. This mean-spirited, nasty kind of miserable anger at the world, at life, at opportunity, whatever you want to call it. They're so compelled, they're so involved in this anger, and it's fueled by this nasty 2-3 minute or 3-word sentence, whatever. People who know nothing. And what people want to do is to get a reaction. So the critical thinking is nowhere, no place here, because that would mean, well, I don't really know. No. You've got a 1-second blast. You've got so many words, and that's it. And people will come out of nowhere just saying this. And I'm wondering, where did you get this? How did you find this? Where? What was the what was the motivation? How do you know this? Nobody says anything. Nobody knows. So we're going to be talking about this and how we always have to go to foreign, alternative, citizen, civilian, broadcast or news to find out what happened. And this story is incredible. It's getting even more interesting. We still don't know where she is. We still don't know much of anything. And more importantly, watch Fox News and Newsmax and all these just to see what's not covered. If I was a news director, I'd be all over this because people are fascinated by it. But when you are a wholly owned subsidiary of the deep state, you're not allowed to do that. So sit back, my friends, get ready. Make sure you're subscribed to Lionel Nation and listen to this critical word from our critical sponsor. Are you feeling buried under credit card bills? Personal loans piling up? Well, you're not alone, and you don't have to face it alone either. Millions of Americans are struggling with debt, and for many, National Debt Relief has been the trusted solution. With just one call or a few clicks, you can find out if you qualify for a proven program that could reduce what you owe and help you become debt-free faster than you ever thought possible. National Debt Relief works by negotiating directly with your creditors on your behalf. That means lower payments, less stress, and no more collection calls. They've helped over 500,000 people resolve more than $10 billion in debt, and they're ready to help you too. There's no upfront cost, no obligation, and no pressure. Just real support from a team that's A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and ranked #1 for debt relief services in America. So if you owe $10,000 or more in credit card or unsecured debt, don't wait. Go to nodebtwithlionel.com. That's nodebtwithlionel.com. Take the first step, get your life back, because you deserve peace of mind. My friends, thank you so much. By the way, Mark, thank you so much for your kindness, your incredible kindness, which makes this so invigorating. I hate to tell you, it's true. It's invigorating when someone takes time out and spends hard-earned money. It really does. My dream is to have a team. I swear to God, my dream is to have Lionel Nation of a team of folks where we put together, we get really good thinkers, not reporters, not journalists, thinkers. And we put this stuff together and we say, and I tell them, make sure you never, ever, ever feel funny about not being able to say that you're not Harvey Levin. You don't have to think, oh my God, what does this mean? Sometimes things mean nothing. We want to be able, and I want you to be able to say that when I tell you something, when I say this means something, you're going to say, I believe that, because he doesn't lie. I have lost friends and fans when the president of the United States, whoever it is, does a lousy job. Trump, Biden, Jimmy Carter, it doesn't matter. I tell you the truth. I'm not a fan club, a fanboy, or whatever the hell they're called. That's not it. I'm not a cheerleader. I don't say things to create the environment or the reality I want to be true. I tell you the truth. I tell you what I believe to be the truth. And the truth is more fascinating. And what's also interesting is I love questions. I love questions. I don't mind questions. I don't know. I would much rather say or ask questions. I was talking to somebody the other day about why a joke was funny, and he just wanted to answer the question. Well, it's because of it. No. You're missing the point. When you ask a question, you're exploring something. And in this case, we have the following. How much do we know? Answer, nothing. We don't know anything. We don't know anything. It's the most incredible thing about we don't know anything. Isn't that great? We don't know anything. Let's start off with that. There you go. Don't know anything. Number 2, what would you want to know if you could get stuff? Well, maybe some other things, but we don't know. That's true. What do you know about the Epstein case? Nothing. You think you do, but you really don't. You do and you don't. Then we get into the PR. I am telling you right now that half of your efficacy in life depends upon how you present yourself. Pam Bondi did something, and she absolutely needs, more than anything else, we need to teach the presentation aspect of this. Her husband or family spoken out yet? Husband, I don't know. Father said he's heartbroken. It's no. I don't know. Let me see something here. Now watch this. This is called Chat GPT. The greatest thing I have ever seen. ChatGPT works. Grok is good too, but Grok is ChatGPT does something that's very good. I'm going to ask it. Forget Google. I'm going to hit. I like my dictation. I'm going to hit controls, and I'm going to say, Have any members of Virginia Giuffre's family spoken up? Husband, father, relatives. Anyone said anything about her accident? Okay, that's the question. All right, that's all I did. Just put it in, and then I hit arrow, and let's see what it says. And you go, and it shows all the reports and everything that's available. It even says, do you like this response or do you like this response? Do you like this response? Look at this one. Father's concern. Two different. Yes, members have spoken. Sky Roberts, Virginia Giuffre's father, has expressed deep concern for his daughter's health. He mentioned feeling sick to my stomach about learning about the accident and emphasized his desire to support her during this challenging time. He's here. She's in Australia. While Mr. Roberts has not been able to speak direct. By the way, that was the New York Post. While he has not been able to speak directly with Virginia since the incident, he noted that she has been in contact with her brother, indicating ongoing family communications. This is according to some news statements. Now, what about this? Husband status. Reports indicate that Giuffre and her husband have recently separated. This personal development adds another layer of complexity. So we don't know. So that's that. It's unbelievable. I put together kind of a group of some things which are interesting. The Instagram post, the details of the accident, contradicting claims, public and media reaction, and ongoing uncertainty. This is me doing just the premise. Because remember, we're here. We don't know anything. This is the most important thing I can tell you. We don't know anything. And that's what's so fascinating. We're trying our best to figure this out as much as possible. Raul says, is vandalizing Tesla car an act of terrorism? Raul, I love you. And what Raul does is you can be talking about anything. It doesn't matter. The name of your thing, could be Virginia Giuffre. What's happened? Is this terrorism? Epstein, whatever. And Raul, God bless you, will say, did George Washington really have wooden teeth? Or were they ivory? Or is that a myth? I love this man. Look at this. Night owl. Faking her death. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Good luck. Now you can fake her death now? Why? Nothing. Now I don't think anybody, Night Owl, I love you. I don't believe means that, thinks that, actually gave this any thought whatsoever. It was just something to say. And that's okay. And I appreciate that. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this. We're not going to throw you out, but that's ridiculous. No. And if you were on the team, if you were on my team, you wouldn't be a part of the Lionel Nation investigative team. You wouldn't do this because there's no evidence of it. You're thinking, well, possibility, maybe then, maybe somebody else. No. It's not merely finding out theoretical stories. But I appreciate that. But that's patently absurd. Absurd at levels that don't even. So let's talk about this. We got the Instagram post. We're going to talk about that first. On March the 31st, Virginia, known for her allegations against, obviously, Epstein and Prince Andrew, shared a post from her hospital bed. She claimed she had been involved in an accident, severe accident with a school bus, and was suffering from renal failure. She had 4 days to live. Okay, let's start with that. Now, this one is where you start, and this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And when I say makes no sense, people do not react correctly. People are not reacting correctly. That's the first thing. You have to ask. Sometimes people are funny, but when you see parents reacting to let's say a missing child or whatever, you think to yourself, you know what? I don't think they're really invested in this emotionally. Okay. Night Owl says, because I think she's going into hiding because his Epstein files are coming out. That's just crazy. Again, I appreciate it. Welcome, but you would not be allowed on my investigative team because that makes no sense. Going into hiding by faking death is absurd. she would have to be in a mental hospital to do that. Why don't you just go away? She's already settled with everybody. She's done. She's settled with Prince Andrew. She's testified. The case is done. She moved to it. She's got her money. She's finished. And now she's going to fake her death. I know you don't mean this, or you've given no thought of this. You just kind of, sometimes people just, oops, sorry about that. Ooh, that was a brain fart. Oops, sorry about that. I just said that. I didn't think about it. Ooh, oops. It's kind of a, oops. It just happened. I didn't mean that. There's no way anybody in their right mind could ever think that. There's no way that anybody could have given this any amount of time whatsoever and said, yeah, she's going to hide it by going out, telling everybody, here I am. It looks like a death shot. It looks like a morgue shot. And to have all this attention because she says, oh, I'm going to go into hiding now, so goodbye. Leave this phony story about renal kidney failure written in a style which I'll show you because it makes absolutely no sense. And there are people just like that who say it all the time. And it's not just now. I remember during the OJ case, people would say, I think Al Cowlings killed her. What? Al Cowlings? Well, it could be. I think Justin, her son? Well, it could be. People just kind of like that. Oops. Did I say something? Did anybody bring up maybe Prince Andrew did it? Yeah, that's, they just say things because there's no thinking. There's just, we don't think, we don't plan, we don't say, well, that doesn't make any sort of sense. Now, sometimes, to be fair, sometimes things don't make any sense, as in the dispatch of Mr. Epstein in the first place. That doesn't make any sense. But let's look at this, okay? Let's look at this story right here. This is the story. And this is the most important thing, I think, in the world. We're going to look at this one. And I want you to follow this. And I want you to read along with me, okay? Let's see if I can read this. It says here, this year has been the worst start to a new year, but I won't bore anyone with the details. But I think it's important to note that when a school bus driver comes at you driving 110 kilometers, I guess, per hour, which is about 60 or so miles an hour, as you're slowing down to turn, that no matter what your car is made of, it might as well be a tin can. The first question, the first statement, the first thing accompanying this picture where she looks, I thought it was a morgue shot. A morgue shot with weird bruising here. And a lot of, I don't understand that. Okay, fine. Could be. All right, we'll go on with that. The eyes looking down. Wearing in a hospital, in an emergency room, a necklace, this is all called a camisole, not a gown. You want to have a gown on. If you're in a hospital, I've got to be able to get to you fast. If there's a code, if I got to run an IV, if I do what you do not wear clothes. And anything you've got, like necklace, that you take it off because we don't want you to claim somebody came in and stole it. We itemize an inventory. We give your watch and all maybe a watch, but no. Earrings that can snag, that can get caught, that can, if ever they have to do some type of, oxygen. No. That's the first thing. Her breast, I'm sorry, I don't want to get too much, almost kind of squished, showing the suction plates or the suction pieces where two, how do I say this, where two leads, apparently EKG, maybe, I don't know. And she's looking down. So who shot that picture? She didn't do it. Somebody did it. Because she's looking down, it came up this way. Most of the time, people do not, well, I shouldn't say that. Most of the time, most women, she's always somebody, I think, who cared about her looks and that sort of thing. But then again, people are so narcissistic and so everything that happens to them, they have to share. Oh, look, I got my nose job. Oh, I got my tooth. Oh, I got my colonoscopy. Oh, I got a broke my leg. Here's my cast. Here's my broken foot. Here's my thing. That's sort of it. This is a different story. But that's over here. There you are in a, now most people use an Instagram on a phone. Most people use a phone. I mean, you can use an iPad, but most people use a phone. That's the universal, that's the ubiquitous means of communicating. You can also use, which I prefer a dictation, but that's going to be kind of tough. Most people do this or this. This is still it. This, not this, this. So here is this woman, unless you said, here's my phone. Jerry, the guy who took the picture, I made up a name, Jerry. I don't know who it is. I don't think she did it at that angle. And to look at it and say, yeah, that's good. I'm going to post it. Anyway. And I guess you have to look to see, where was that posted from? Is Instagram, is there an ISP of where it was from? If you're in Perth doing this versus New York, if I have access to her Instagram account and I put this picture in and I put this story in and I do it, do you think the Instagram people, if there was a subpoena, could tell me, where did that post come from? Was it in Perth? Was it there's no location on there? Where was it? That we don't know. But nonetheless, she starts off with that this year has been the worst start to a new year. But I won't bore anybody with the details. This year, she's talking about this is the weirdest thing. She's dying and she's going, I'll tell you what, January was sure tough. February wasn't much better. Glad to see Trump. No. Then when a school bus a driver comes at you driving 110 kilometers, as we were slowing for a turn, that no matter what your car is made of, it might as well be a tin can. Boom. Sentence number one. This is a sentence. Sentence number two. I've gone into kidney renal failure. They've given me 4 days to live. Boom. Anybody see anything weird with that? Anybody see this? Anybody see anything? Anybody see this? Anybody ask this question? Anybody? By the way, Night Owl's got this right. You were correct. We'll get to that in a moment. Police are saying, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that. You're right about that. But do you notice that right off the bat? Kidney renal failure. Okay. Technically, that was redundant. It's tautological. Fine. But right off the bat, oh, by the way, did I tell you? I've got 4 days to live. But this year's been one. Let me tell you something. If you get hit by a bus, oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm going to die. I got 4 days to live. Now, was that to tell the world, when you find out that I die, you're going to be able to say, yep, that's it, all right. That's it. Is that the way that works? It's fascinating. Is that the... I find that so strange. Transfer me to a specialist hospital in urology. I'm ready to go, just not until I see my babies one last time. Does this sound? Does any of this sound with the tenor, the timbre, the seriousness, the sorrow, the fear, the fright? Can anybody who has 4 days to live imagine the state of being in extremis when you're talking about renal failure? I would imagine, first of all, you would be on some kind of, not even dialysis, but you would be IV. This foot, give me my phone. Can you do? Maybe somebody did it for. I don't know, but it's just so strange. I'm ready to go, just not until I see my babies one last time. But You know what they say about wishes? And she writes, and she's dying, and she says, shit in one hand and wish in the other, and I guarantee you it's gonna be shit at the end of the day. Ooh, 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 ooh. And she's actually editing shit, capital S. It's just, she's able to do this. Renal failure, I'm done. Hey, S apostrophe. She puts S apostrophe, but not SH or asterisk, excuse me. Thank you all for being the wonderful people of the world and for being a great part of my life. Thank you for being a part of my life as I became the victim. God bless you all. XX Virginia. Smile. What's this? Sadness. The hands, the prayer, and the butterfly. Do you believe any of this? Do you think not believe it? Let me rephrase this. Does any of this seem in any way even remotely consistent with the way people act? Something is wrong with this. I'm not buying this. I don't know how to say it any way other than by saying something. I don't buy this. It makes no sense. Now, the details of the accident, Giuffre described the accident as a high-speed collision, alleging that a bus, a school bus, a regular bus, a coach, was driving at about 68 miles per hour when it struck her vehicle. She expressed a desire to see her children one more time. That would have been a serious accident with a report, with damage, with twisted metal, with people running to help, with people saying, hey, aren't you the local paper? Sky Australia, they love this. I mean, they put it this way, that's all that Fox stuff. And now Lefty's losing it. I can't do an Australian accent to save my life. Western Australia police reported a minor collision between a car and a bus on March the 24th with no injuries recorded. The discrepancy between her account and the official report has led the public to say, wait a minute. Next, the public and the media reaction, the contrasting narrative have sparked, as you know, widespread discussion on social media and various news outlets, with supporters expressing concern for her health and critics questioning the validity of her claims. And as of now, there is no further information regarding her current health status or clarification. This is, to me, one of the most fascinating stories because of the fact that we don't know anything. Now, here are some questions. Johnny Maz the Spaz said, how could she know the bus was going 110 kilometers per hour? It's a great question. I don't know if somebody in the accident told her, if somebody looked at brake tire screeching brake. Who knows? If it was their accident reconstruction, I have no idea. But it's a great point. How do you know this? How do you know this? This is the most famous person. Everybody in the world. Sky News, they do, that 60 Minutes Australia. They've talked to her a million times. This is the woman. And you think somebody would say, by the way, I'm moving here, so if you all could kind of keep an eye on me, okay. Next. Assuming I'm the bad guy. Assuming I'm the one from the deep state. Assuming I'm one of these nefarious, horrible people that is responsible. The ones that you know, the hit squads, the ones who are and somebody says, well, we're going to finally get her. Who? Virginia Giuffre. Why? What do you mean you're going to get her? What does that mean? Now we're going to do it. Why? Because they're releasing the files. What files? The Epstein files. Who's releasing the Epstein files? Who? Pam Bondi, the Attorney General. No, I think she's more interested now in Tesla scratches and which is not exactly the stuff of the Department of Justice, but what do you anyway. Why is she doing this now? Because they're going to release the files. There's no files to release. But aside from that, she's already settled. Her beef, I think she might have had a claim against maybe the Epstein estate, maybe I don't know, maybe but certainly Prince Andrew already settled this with the Queen. The Queen paid for this. Maybe she might be in the public eye again by virtue of this. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. But why are we going to do this now? We're going to do it now. Okay. How are you going to do it? Well, she lives in Australia. You're going to have somebody, you mean a little wet work there? No. What are you going to do? I got a bus. You got a bus. We're going to follow her. And we're going to wait. And when she's turning left or whatever it is, we're going to have it go 110 kilometers per hour and nail her. Pow. What's that going to do? It might end up with nothing. Airbag might go off. It might muster up a little bit. But there's no certainty with that. It's like the story which always bothered me about Princess Di. Yeah, they wanted to get her, but people walk away. You're in a big Mercedes, airbags and things. Who knows? It's too iffy. But this, you're going to use this? They're going to try to get her? Now, the word is this. There are sources that you don't have access to. Think of it as not gossip, but the alternative dark web, all right? The other places where people kind of in the know go, and they're all around. You got to know where to blind gossip. And in fact, the word gossip is such a bad term, but they're saying, oh no, that was not the bus. That was something else. The bus story, it's not that there wasn't a bus story. That's not the story. So I don't understand this. So the bus did or didn't happen. This was a part of that, different from that. Why is she putting this out? If you're going to do something, and remember, let's assume I am an assassin. I am the guy that everybody, I'm like that fellow in The Godfather. Remember the guy with the dark hat? The guy who wore black. He had a name. By the way, it turns out I think he's like Buddha. He's a Romanian or something. He was a very famous artist, sculptor, and he was Michael Corleone's his bodyguard. The guy who got Johnny Ola. And anyway, but if I was one of those guys, I'm going to say first, if you get me in this, people just disappear. I ain't going to let anybody know anything. I'm not going to be involved in letting people know what I do. If you want somebody disappeared, they just disappear. And that's it. No hits, no runs, no errors, no body, no forensics, no nothing. That's the way to do it. That's the way I would do it. If you want to send a message, remember, I think I told you a story about. Yeah, I did. In fact, I told Sean Atwood that about Albert Anastasia. Remember Albert Anastasia, Murder Incorporated? Arnold Schuster. Arnold Schuster was the Brooklyn. He He was related to Simon and Schuster, I think, and Simon was Carly Simon's father. Anyway, he was this young man, 20-something. He worked at a haberdasher or a clothing store. And Willie Sutton, remember Willie Sutton, famous bank robber who famously quipped, "Willie, why do you rob banks?" He says, "That's where the money is." Remember that? Remember Willie Sutton? Okay. Willie Sutton was out on the lam. And Arnold Schuster saw him on the subway in New York, called the cops, got the cops, alerted the cops, and they arrested this famous, lovable bank robber, Willie Sutton. The story goes that Albert Anastasia, Lord High Executioner, the Mad Hatter, Murder Incorporated, with Kid Twistrellis and, Pittsburgh Phil Strauss. And, they had the Abundando, Frank the Dasher. They had all these killers. The story is that Albert Anastasia said, "I hate a rat," or "No, I hate a squealer," hit him. And sure enough, the story is that, and there might be some debates about this, but the story is that one of his henchmen, his assassins, got poor Arnold Schuster. And depending upon what you believe, the way he was shot, either in the eye or the groin, they were all supposedly, this was done to send a message. And he was like in the street like a dog. They just shot it in the street. That's not the way they normally did it. This was to send a message. See what happens? If you're going to do a see what happens message, this ain't the way to do it. So none of it makes any sense. If you want her just to be disappeared, she would have been disappeared a long time ago. I don't understand people. Do you think that Pam Bondi alerting, remember that night, and we're going to release all of the Epstein files, come hell or high water? Well, not necessarily. Hey, where are these Epstein files? Hey, Cash. Yeah, Pam. What gives? I told everybody we'd be releasing the Epstein files. Drat. Well, now we're going to do it. So let me ask you something. Did we do it again? Did we ever find out? Did we ever follow through? I don't know. Yesterday I was watching, let me tell you something. There are some people who were just, you've got to just give them the most important credit. Laura Loomer, who was just, God, she's like a bulldog. She gets on something like, and she does not care for the, say Claire or Ashley, whatever, Elon's baby mama. And also I was watching Candace Owens on something about, we always say Sirhan, right? We always say that. Sirhan. You always get these double names like Boutros Ghali. You don't get that too often. I'm going to name like the next kid. Well, you should name your kid Jerry Langford. It's the weirdest thing. So anyway, she kept saying Saran. And I was listening to this because it's on my YouTube, and it's wonderful. They'll recommend things. Hey, watch this, watch that. And she is, aside from being one of the most psychologically complicated people, she's tremendous talent. And people think, you're being mean. No. I think that's why she's so good. But she kept saying, and Saran. And Saran, like Saran wrap? Saran. I said, that's not the way we've ever said it. Well, you know what? I looked it up, and it's Saran. That's the way to say it. So you're correct. Anyway, she was talking about going through this and spending a lot of attention to the specifics of Robert Kennedy's assassination and others. And you have to look at how things work. And one of the things which I think she might have explained, I don't know if she did, but she might have, is what is the motivation behind this? What did Bobby Kennedy ever do to piss off the Jordanians or whatever? No, it doesn't. The story doesn't make any sense. Things don't make sense. you can't look at something and just say that, well, it's because, no, you have to ask, what's the motivation behind it? How did it happen? Then you get into this thing too, which is hard to explain. What if you have stupid people who are involved in the world of, how do I say this? Stupid people involved in the world of this. For example, why would anybody want to dispatch her this way? Why did anybody want to take Epstein out that way? In federal custody, in a federal, really a jail, not a prison, in a room, in a cell, with this hulking beast who happened to be looking at the death penalty, who, lo and behold, after what appears to be strangulation on the part of Epstein, he pleads out to life or whatever it is. Isn't this, nobody, we need Loomer and we need Candace Owens, and we need somebody to say, keep going. Go there. That's where you need to go. But we don't have that. We have people who just were worried about the black book. And I'm saying, what do you care about his black book? That's not the key about Epstein was who did it and what intel organizations were responsible for it. Who did it and who ordered it. Think about that. And also, think about this. If you're watching this, consider yourself warned. Food prices are about to explode, and the time to prepare is now. Listen, go to preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com and secure your 4-week emergency food supply now while supplies last. With new tariffs, listen to me, with new tariffs slamming the global market and inflation spiraling, your grocery bill is about to skyrocket. When the crisis hits, shelves will be empty, and those who didn't prepare will be left desperate. History proves it. Every major economic collapse, every supply chain disruption, the first thing to go is food. You do not want to be waiting in government lines, hoping there's enough left for you and your family. This 4-week emergency food kit delivers over 2,000 calories per day, ensuring you have the nutrients you need and your family needs to weather the storm. It's fortified for survival, packed in rugged, long-term storage containers, and can last up to 25 years. So when disaster strikes, you'll be ready. Order today, and you'll get 4 free 72-hour food kits. That's 12 extra days of meals at no cost. The regular price is $346.80, but right now, you get it for just $247. Don't wait until it's too late. Go to preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com, and lock in your emergency food supply before the real panic begins. I will never understand how people are not lured by obvious questions. It's like sometimes you think to yourself, how is it that people, like sometimes wives, I think women are far more, I know that this is not meant to be sexist, but I think women are better detectives than men because they have a better sense of suspicion. But if you look at Sky News, and I'm looking at this right now. I just looked at this, and Sky is pretty good, Sky News. And it says, it starts off, a spokesman for Ms. Giuffre. A spokesperson? Who is a spokesperson? That's the question I want to know. See, I stop immediately. What do you mean a spokesperson? Who? Family member? Government? Did they give you their name? Is this part of the hit team? I mean, a spokesperson? You've got the person. Imagine you guys show, as Arnold Schuster, a spokesperson. A spokesperson for Ms. Giuffre told Sky's U.S. partner network in a statement, Virginia has been in a serious accident and is receiving medical care. She greatly appreciates the support and well wishes people are sending. Police said they received a report of a minor crash between a school bus and a car in near Gabby, about 12 miles north of Perth on March 24th. The collision was reported by the bus driver the following day. There were no reported injuries as a result of the crash. Now, by the way, in this country, you must do it immediately. But anyway, a spokesperson for the East Metropolitan Health Service, which runs Royal Perth Hospital, told the Australian Broadcasting Corporation that Ms. Giuffre was not at any of their facilities. A Western Australian Public Transport Authority spokesperson also told ABC they were unaware of any such bus crashes. As you know, she sued Andy in 2021, saying he had his way with her when she was 17 and had been trafficked. Okay, now, that's it. That's it. This is Sky News. I would say, holy, do you understand? There's nothing here. I'm looking at the front page. Tariffs. Why are Birmingham bin workers striking? Putin wants to do this. This is the story of stories. 3 killed as car and bus catch fire in a crash. That's something else. Nothing. This is the part where somebody has to say, oh, no. And that's what we're going to be able to do. It's just that this is the story that screams, and nobody seems to care about it. It fascinates me like you cannot believe. And what I also want to know is that if you think this is good, I can tell you, name a story for me that you were shocked was never found of interest. 9/11. I can't believe, with all of the moving parts, nobody even knows the story. Not the official story, but nothing. They know it kind of as a collective, towers and, never forgetting on it. I have no idea. Geoengineering, no idea. There are more people fascinated by seed oils. Seed oils is the thing. They're going crazy over seed oils. America is the most unfit. They're eating tons of lard. LDLs are through the roof. They're floating in saturated fat. And they're worried about seed oils. That's the thing, because it's the omega-6 to 3. That's the reason for it. But they don't even tell you that. They just have this thing about seed oils. God damn it, the seed. But this, nothing. Bobby Kennedy Jr. Bobby Kennedy. Phantomus says, allegedly she and her husband separated early in 2025. Yep, that's true. That's what she said. Anybody, any idea? Nothing. This 60 Minutes Australia that goes over everything. It's like somebody said, nobody. Susan P. says, lard is animal fat. Thank you, Susan. Appreciate it. Nobody's saying anything about it. Nobody. Unbelievable. Nobody. This is the woman. We're the ones who were screaming, we've got to have the files. I've got to know Epstein. Who was it? Who were the people? Was it Bill Clinton? Was it Bill Gates? Were they at the island on the Lolita Express? And they I gotta know this. It's critical that I know this. We can't do it, Pam Bondi. Where are the files? Oh, Jesus, arrest somebody. Hey, I think somebody may have, who knows? Maybe she's unalive. Oh, whatever. I want to know about the black book. Excuse me. I just told you Virginia Giuffre. Yeah, I know that. And I want to know. Do you not understand it? Do you not understand? It blows my mind. Nobody on Fox News? Never. You think Greg Gut Bucket or Typhoid or I don't even know who's on there anymore. Who is it? I have no idea. I have no idea. This is the story. This is it. This is just, it's the, I don't know. And another thing too. This is the part that blows my mind. The Kennedy family, Bobby's kids, have such a disinterest in, it was Sir Saran, gay Saran. That's it. They don't care. Move along. This is the character. Maybe your father was, nope, not interested. Same way with Wills and Harry about their mum. Do you believe this story about that? Oh, don't know about that. Dodie, remember Dodie's father? Nope. That's what fascinates me. I love the story about the mother who will go to the police, camp out of this, say, you've got to find my kid. It is so interesting and intriguing. And yet you are being told the condition not to ask about it, don't think about it, and don't use critical thinking skills. This is going to go away because it's already gone away now. It's already gone away now. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God. Oh my God. I have told people, as an example, this is the part that gets me. Imagine doing a magic trick. And you go like this, and you take the coin, and you poof. And somebody said, don't you notice the coin's gone? Yeah. Don't you react? No. Don't you think that's interesting? Nothing? Nothing at all? I've shown people the picture. One time I was at one event, and it was a picture they had of Flight 93 in Shanksville, and there's no plane there. And I said, do you notice anything missing? And all I asked. I didn't say who did or why. I just asked the audience, do you notice anything? Anything at all about this? Anything that's odd? This is Shanksville, Pennsylvania. This is where Flight 93 crashed. You notice anything? And they looked at me. Wow. I don't know who it is. I don't know how. It just. So not only is the story interesting, but the reaction is interesting. Marine Le Pen in France. What they are doing to her, what they did this, that feller in Romania, and what they tried to do to Orban, and it is the story of stories. And God bless Tucker for maybe turning people onto that. No interest in it whatsoever. None. No interest in the real story as to what's going on in Ukraine. None. I asked somebody the other day, I said, they go, that Putin, they made him a deal and he wasn't. Made him a deal for what? Just to stop the, I said, excuse me. He's winning. What is the incentive? What are we giving him? To say, hey, stop that, whatever you're doing with Ukraine. Stop that. Give Zelensky some time so that we can wait, rearm him. So, I mean, does anybody, what is the motivation? And then they yell at Putin because he's such a killer. Why do you want to give? He told you, get out of Ukraine. No NATO. The 4 Oblasts, they've already had the referendum. Forget it. I just realized, Nobody gets it. Nobody understands it. They have this idea of whatever. I mean, none of this makes any sense at all. All of a sudden, the radical left is going crazy because some guy, and you should be careful, from, let's say, Egypt, was picked up, sent out of the country, and was arrested or held or whatever it was, and he didn't do anything, and he was an innocent person, and they're going crazy. And I said, what about the Americans who were picked up, who happened to be in Washington, who had nothing to do with January 6th, who said, hey, what's this? Walk over there, picked up, or people who were just standing there with a sign with a, Gadsden flag, who didn't do anything, never entered, not everybody. There were people who entered the Capitol. Some of them weren't arrested, some weren't. Nobody cared about it. What about these people? American citizens protesting. And they say, well, they were violent. Well, what about the people? What about the Palestinian protests? Well, that's different. Well, wait a minute. And this is not arguing Palestinian. Don't you love this situational ethics? I don't understand it. Those are American citizens. And you're worried about some Egyptian, granted, laborer who was picked up who was here illegally, or who was there at our pleasure. I don't understand this. And the best one I've got is, we have these friends sometimes who are so goddamn stupid, and they're going to be, my new favorite is, we're going to be protesting Trump regarding Social Security. What about Social Security? Trump wants to end Social Security. No, he doesn't. Well, I'm going to go, and I hate that guy. And these are people who don't do anything. Elon Musk says, I'm going to try to make Social Security efficient. I don't understand any of that. By the way, Elon Musk, you notice how he said, give her a couple mil, the baby mama. I said, don't your Doge people check up? Are you the father? I don't know, maybe. Okay, I think we know the story about that. So I've got these people who hate Trump and who go bananas over people who came to this country, people who did, or who were here maybe illegally, whatever. But still, Americans who just protested. That was insurrection. Why? Because it was at the Capitol. They also complained that, well, what about students who are at universities who maybe are violent, have been violent, and there has been, irrespective of what you might think, there have been people targeted because of their faith. Clearly anti-Semitism, not Israeli policy, but so I live in this weird world where they're dormant. They don't know. What they do know, what they're interested in, they are maybe a couple of days and then they stop. Or when they're upset about the wrong thing. Or they're not upset at all about the right thing. It's the strangest thing. I live in this world, and I'm always trying to say, excuse me, I don't think you understand what's happening here. I don't think you understand what the problem is here. I don't think you grasp this. And they don't. And I will never understand it. But I'm going to press on. Because I would not be surprised. I'm not saying, but I would not be surprised that Miss Giuffre is no longer with us. And that when somehow they say, oh, the family of Virginia Giuffre announced that she passed away. Well, she said she had renal failure. They won't question anything. They will say, you don't believe that story, but, well, she said it right there, 4 years. They don't even have her in the hospital. Oh, well, that's what she said. You don't care, do you? No, it's not that I don't care. It's that I don't think, and I don't react, and nothing really matters to me. I'm going to end with something which has nothing to do with this, but it's so emblematic. And maybe you've seen this. The number of people that I'm hearing about, young people in particular, who do not answer emails, who do not show up to work, who do not care, who get slammed. These are young people too. But still, people who say, I can't write down 5 things that I did last week. What are you kidding me? I can't do that. The pressure of it's part of this collective mindset that we live in where these people just don't seem to care. Cut Up says, I never have time to stand about with a cardboard sign. I am busy taking care of the needs of neighbors. There is so much work that expresses love and justice. Indeed. Indeed. And thank you for that. I believe there are many, many better ways, obviously, to show focus. But it's the most incredible thing, seriously, I've ever seen in my life. I have never seen anything like this in my life. And I've never seen a how do we say this? I've never seen such an intellectual, dare I say, torpor or lethargy or inertia. It is mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling. Barry Taylor says, what about Prince Andrew's out-of-court settlement with Virginia? What about it? We've already said that. He's done with that. He's figured, I'm done with it. Could our discussion of these new files somehow led someone to believe that maybe her now since silenced testimony may become relevant again by virtue of this? I don't know. I do not know. This is the most fascinating subject. I don't know. I will bet you anything. You will never hear anything from our government, AG, President, FBI about Epstein again. I think that story is over and done. That's what I believe. Or that's what I suspect. I should say that. I suspect that. All right, dear friends, thank you so much. Thank you so very, very much. Marty, thank you. Phantomus, Fanta, Raul Rodriguez, Johnny Maz, Spaz, thank you. Cut Up Chatter. And Barry Taylor, thank you as well. And make sure you follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. Make sure you follow the other channel that we have at Lionel Legal. And make sure you remain subscribed to Lionel Nation, which is critical. Thank you for this. We will talk to you soon. Have a great and a glorious day. Don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.